Ladies, why would a man get a woman pregnant that he has no intention of being in a relationship with? And let me just say this, that's just something I'll never do, okay? Number one reason, because maybe he's trying to trap you, right? Because he sees that this woman is a catch, but yet he doesn't want to commit to a woman. He wants to do his thing, but he knows that you're a catch. So he's going to get you pregnant, because at the end of the day, unfortunately for a lot of men, when they see a girl got a kid, it weeds off a lot of men. It turns a lot of men off, all right? It is what it is. Number two reason, because maybe he's just an irresponsible man. There's men out there who are literally nut in everything and anything and don't give a fuck, all right? That's why you got to protect yourself. You can't just be sleeping raw with anybody and anybody. Use some birth control or make sure they're wearing protection. And then number three reason, because maybe he knows that you have shit going for yourself. So if he gets you pregnant, he knows that you're going to take care of the kid and he doesn't have to have a lot of responsibility. All right. So then I hope that helped y'all out. Gave y'all some clarity.
I know I'm going to be classified as the world's biggest hater for saying this, but men trap women with babies more often than women trap men. Like, women may trap men with babies because they love him and they want to keep him or like to use his money, which, whatever, let's pretend like those theories are true. But men trap women as a way to block their success. Like, when a man sees that a woman is doing better than him or is on her way to greatness, and he's like, once she gets there, she's not going to want me no more. She's not going to need me anymore. You know what he does? Pregnant. And if you think I'm lying, take notice of the pattern of so many women who are on their way up, literally like their career just took off and immediately fall pregnant. Like, it can't just continue to be a coincidence. Sexy Red just announced her pregnancy, and mind you, she hasn't even been fully popping a year. I'll give you some more examples. Girls did that feature with Drake and then became huge, blew up and became mainstream, and immediately afterward, Young Miami, pregnant. Even though this isn't officially confirmed, but this is my favorite example ever. Literally just the Little Mermaid career literally just blew up. And I know a lot of people's responses are going to be like, well, they have money, so it's fine. Like, you can pop up children as long as you have money. And first of all, I'm going to start with this. Number one, it bothers me so much that you think that money is the only thing you need to be a good parent. Like, well, they have money. They can have as many kids as they want. Do they have time? Do they have time to be parents in the middle of a world tour? Do you have time? Does your schedule... Like, money is not the only factor that goes into having children. People like Sexy Red, people are like, well, she made it. She has money now. And I'm just like, I feel like, was I the only one paying attention when we learned a few years ago that a lot of our favorite artists in the early 2000s who had multiple number ones, who were on sold out tours, who were going crazy. TLC is my favorite example, who was literally the best selling group of all time at a point in time. And they were dead broke. Your favorite celebrities, especially if they're musicians, do not have money. They have things because that's how they're getting paid, but most of them do not have enough money that if they stop working tomorrow, even if they're like, all right, my career is done tomorrow, they would be okay. No, they're not. They don't have that. And I'm going to take it a step further, and I'm going to say it's even more fickle if you're a female rapper, because as a female rapper, I feel like you're hot and you have to... That's why you see a lot of female rappers like single after single after single after remix after, you know, it's like back to back. It's because your time and the attention span of audiences when it comes to female rappers is so short, and the minute that you take a break, it's very, very hard to come back from. It's very hard, and we see it all the time when we see rappers who we believe to be classics, like... Sorry to name names, but Lil' Kim is my favorite example. Like, Lil' Kim, obviously the greatest female rapper of all time, though. We see every 2 years she tries to put out a single, and the entire world is like, no, pass, thanks, we don't want it. And that's somebody with a legendary career behind them. Imagine somebody who was like Sexy Red, who was only popping for 1 year, and then let's say she decides to take a year off so that she can be pregnant and then raise her newborn baby. You think that if she takes a year off, when she comes back, people are still going to care about her? I mean, they might, but statistically, has that been the case? And I know people are going to bring up Cardi B as an example. And to me, Cardi B is the exception to the rule. She's not the rule. She's the exception. And Cardi B's entire thing has always worked out really well. Is because Cardi B has never been just a rapper. She's always been a brand. She's always been able to market herself and create a career of being who she is. So because her and her team understand her brand so well, she was able to pull that off. And she could pull it off 2 or 3 more times. But again, to me, she's the exception to the rule. She's not the rule.
Why you telling me you might be pregnant? Is this like you trying to trap me?
I need all the men to come to the front of the congregation. Let's chat. Adult activity is a 3-component thing. Number 1 is for pleasure. Number 2, for bonding. Number 3, reproduction. At least that's how I see it. But see, a lot of y'all fellas, y'all just want the number 1. Y'all just want the good feeling and the pleasure, and that's it. And a lot of y'all don't care that it's a bonding mechanism, even though y'all have a adult activity with the same person. It bonds you to another person. And baby, that's how you make babies. It's for reproduction. So y'all sit here and say, oh, she trying to trap me. She knew I ain't want no baby. Okay, but when you signed up to do adult activity with her, the reproduction is a part of the mix. And y'all try to act like it's not, like the baby just came out from the sky or she just put it in herself. You were complicit. Stop acting like you wasn't.
Women really baby trap men, or is there a possibility that it's the other way around? Men baby trap women. Men baby trap women into exploitative, gendered household labor dynamics that are weighted against women. Men baby trap women into long periods of low or no income when they've had kids. Men literally baby trap women inside the home with infants who are difficult to take out into a man-made world that is hostile to people who are breastfeeding or using prams and strollers. Men baby trap us into being too busy as primary carers to participate in the public life and activities that can gain us political power, which gives us the ability to create change for ourselves. Men baby trap women into abusive relationships where we are too physically and financially vulnerable to leave. And even if a man is meaningfully concerned about getting someone pregnant and he wants to control his reproductive choices, he always has the choice of wearing a condom. He also has the choice of standing up for women's reproductive rights. And even if that condom fails, as contraceptives sometimes do, and he accidentally gets someone pregnant, it's not him who will be trapped.
Guys, think about how crazy this is. When a dude traps you with a baby, he's not only saying you are obligated to this relationship in some way, shape, or form. He's saying you have to be a mother to my child, and you're somehow obligated to be a mother to me as well, because I know I can't take care of myself. Because if I could, I wouldn't need to obligate somebody to be in a relationship with me to reinforce my inability to do that. And before the guys go ahead and drop in the comments acting crazy, acting, women do it too, women do it too. Yeah, women definitely do it too. But patriarchy creates a system where women are forced to marry and connect themselves to a man for their own survival or sustenance of their lives. We are just coming into a period where women are able to build for themselves and create through their own conscious will. Not that it hasn't always been like that, but because society is just starting to recognize that after completely demonizing free women. So yes, this conversation is more heavily focused on the men. And yes, when you do look at this conversation with some depth, finally, you can see that men also find ways to depend on women, but then flip the script to make them look like some kind of rebellious, confident, like playboy, or some just like an identity that validates you being some traumatizing asshole and stopping you from taking the accountability that you need to take. So maybe if you can't make anybody's life better, you could at least just be a good human being.
Ladies, don't be fooled, okay? These men out here today are trapping women with pregnancy. They've been trapping us. They just lie.
I'm of the belief ain't no woman that had a baby she ain't want to have. There's too many ways not to have a baby. Plan A, birth control or condoms. Plan B, Plan C, the clinic. Ain't no man out here trapping you. You had that kid because you wanted to. Some of y'all had that kid because y'all was thinking, oh, maybe if I had this kid, he'd grow up and act more like a man. Some of y'all had a kid to try to save a failing relationship. Women is trapping men every day to try to get money. I know what y'all gonna say in the comments. Money we don't have. Whatever. It's still happening. If a woman had that baby, it's because she wanted to. Not because somebody trapped her. It cannot happen. You got too many ways out. A man, we don't have any options. We got to go with whatever the woman say.
Hi ladies, hello, I hope everybody is good. I just want to talk about something I've discovered recently or lately, or something that I've noticed lately. And I think I've spoken about this once way back last year sometime, about how men always speak in opposites. And what made me think about this is like this thing of men always saying women are trapping them with babies. If you think about that thing of women trapping men with babies, the real truth is that the men actually trap women, because men are not responsible for kids. They're not the sole child rearer, or they're not the sole one who's responsible of being with the child 24/7. So it just had me wondering and asking myself, in this thing of baby trapping, who's really trapping who? Because women are most times financially responsible for the kids, most times spend 90 to 100% of the time with the kids. Like, a man can make a woman pregnant and just walk away and continue his life as if he's single. So my question is, who's baby trapping who? You know, and I want women to understand that men literally speak in opposites. Whatever they say about women or to women, it's usually the opposite. If they say women are trapping men with babies, believe me, it's them. They are trapping the woman. Okay, and one of the things that's also inspired me to speak about this is this Haley Little Mermaid girl, and apparently DDG, her guy, got her pregnant just as she's about to become very successful, or just as she's hitting the peak of her success. And this is something that I see very often, of men literally impregnating women just as they're about to succeed. And I just feel like the baby trapping thing, it's men. They are trapping women.
As a woman, you're probably asking, well, how the hell am I supposed to know when this man is trying to have a trap baby? All right, let me give you some tips, some warning signs to be aware of. Warning number 1, he talks about having your baby before he talks about marrying you. Let me explain something to you. If a man is serious about being in your life, being committed to you, pouring into your needs, then he will be willing to discuss marriage. He will be willing to consider long-term commitment. When that man can't even talk marriage, but he's talking about, can you have my baby? You better run. Run for the hills, all right? This man is trying to set you up. And it sounds funny, but I'm telling you, this is for real. This is happening as we speak right now. And many of you listening to this podcast have experienced this. First dates, second dates, this man is already talking about putting the baby in you. But not talking about taking you to the courthouse. Not, let's go ring shopping. Not, what kind of house you want to live in? No, none of that. Because all he wants is to make sure he locks you in and you can't go anywhere.
I need somebody to help me find the words to express my disgust with men like this. Now you are stuck with me forever. He can go to hell. Shit like this is exactly why the fuck I'm child free. Because why the fuck would you do that to somebody? To use a baby, a child, a human being as a pawn. Because God forbid somebody finds somebody better than you and you left behind with nothing. Even if that's not the case, the fact that somebody would do that to you is beyond fucked up. That guy's a psychopath. This is why a lot of women out there tell you, women with children will tell you, protect your womb, because these men will plot on you and you don't even know it. Especially when you got something going on in your life. You in college, you trying to start a business, you doing well in general, you happy, you glowing. They hate that shit. Oh, I gotta humble her. I gotta bring her down to my level. Get the fuck out of here. Short answer, no. Long answer, you were not trapped. We are all adults. There are inherent risks to intercourse. One of them is conception. So, if you willfully engage in this activity, where the inherent risk of said activity is conception, pregnancy, and then the birth of a child, you are not trapped. And that is on assumption of risk.
You know, men be so possessive. You gonna go to ultimate lengths and knock this girl up because you don't want her to leave you. Boy, you's a bitch. Because you know for a fact that you ain't even about to step up and take care of no child. You know for a fact that you just want her to be in your life. You just gonna knock her up just to say she got one of your kids and she gonna have to deal with you for the next 18 years. That is sick, bruh. Won't you just step up and be a man? Then you won't feel like she got so many options out there and she gonna leave you, so you need to do the one thing that you know gonna keep her around. At that point, when you decide to do that, you don't even care about the dynamic of the relationship that y'all about to be in. You don't even care about that, because your only thought in that moment is, I don't want her to leave me. She can't leave me. What, you wasn't loved enough by your moms or something when you was young to feel like that you need this female love to always be around? So in order for you to keep it around, you want to get the girl pregnant? That got to be the most lamest thing you can do. And you can't call yourself no man if you just going out here and deliberately knocking girls up just because you want to keep them around. Stop using the child as a toy or a tool in your mental war game. You don't have children with somebody just because you don't want them to leave you if you ain't willing to step up.
A man that is demanding for me to have a child 5 months into a relationship.
This is 90 Day Fiance. I saw another video where the creator was explaining that this couple agreed that they did not want to have children. And it is my understanding that she moved to his country so that they can solidify their relationship and get married. And she was going to move with him. Now he has done a switcheroo and wants children. And she ain't going for it. Now, you go ahead and take her L. She says in the clip, my friends and family were right about you. But at the same time, see how people like to switch up on you? That man wanted to get her in a country she was unfamiliar with. She was not born there. I'm not sure which country it is. And then within 5 months, get her pregnant when he agreed in the beginning that they did not want to have children. He wanted to trap her. And then if you watch the entire clip, he says, you're not crying over me. She gives her explanation as to why she's not crying over him. Then he tells her, 2 days. I'll get over you in 2 days. This woman switched her whole life up, moved across the world to be with this guy. I think this is, she moved to a country she does not know to be with this man in a whirlwind romance. And he says to her, his response to her when she tells him, if you continue like this, you're going to lose me. He says, I'll be over you in 2 days. 2 days. If that ain't a gut punch, if that isn't someone who I thought we were on this page and now things have shifted, now you're making demands that we didn't agree upon when I moved here. Now she got to rethink her whole life again because this man switched up and is manipulating her on camera. And that's what's crazy too, because people are not ashamed of what they're doing. They're being filmed. It's documented what they said to each other. And that's what he said. That's what he think. The threat. I hope, that's just a clip. I hope that she stands on business. For real. But I hope she really stands on business and leaves that man. It's not safe. He gonna try to get her pregnant if she stays, and she'll end up with a baby that she don't want. Never wanted. Trapped in a country that is unfamiliar to her. And then he'll become the monster he is already starting to show himself to be.
You have to look at the bigger picture here. You may feel this is a flex in the moment, but you have to wake up and snap out of it. This man literally told multiple women to get abortions, but told you to keep your baby. That man trapped you with his child. And men that trap women with children are dangerous, controlling men. He doesn't want to commit to you, but he doesn't want you living his life. So he would rather trap you with a child to keep you in his life forever as a placeholder. And that's completely dangerous. And any man that tells multiple women to get abortions, but then tells you to keep your child is a spiteful man. And why is he not wearing any type of protection? Any man to keep implanting his seed inside of multiple women and telling them to get rid of that child is a man to have multiple baby mamas in the future. And you're just the first one. But there may be more.
Baby trapping. This is a real thing. Tons of women get sucked into having a man's baby because the man got them pregnant. So for me, I always tell the guy that I don't care what happens. I'm not having your child unless I am married. So I went on a date and I told this guy that. And we had a little argument about it. I don't even know why we even discussed it. But we did, and it was a first date. But I let him know I am not having a child unless I am married. And we see a lot of women will just fall into this trap. They have the child because the guy promises X, Y, and Z. No. It's not happening for me. If I'm not ready, I'm not even having a child. Nonetheless, if we're not married, it's not happening.
This video is for my men who have ever thought a woman has trapped them or has the trapation conversation at all. This is for those men. If you're not those men, child, you can stick around because I'm going to get into their ass. Now, here's the thing. Me personally, I never really got into the whole she trapped me thing because women need men to get pregnant. And if you're a man that knows you don't want any kids or you know you don't want kids with the woman that you're sleeping with, it's your responsibility to wrap it up. But LaVonna, what if she said she was on birth control? You still should have been wrapping it up because you don't want kids. But LaVonna, what if she said she took the Plan B and she ain't take it? You know you don't want kids, so you should have never came in her. But I get it. Men are going to say, no, that's deceitful, blah, 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 blah. And maybe it is. However, I'm 36 years old. Knew already that I did not want to have kids with a man who was not going to be able to take care of them and me. And when I say take care of me, yeah, I'm talking about dote on me. I'm your pregnant wife. Like, you need to be taking care of me. But because in my 36 years, I had never been sure that I had that man, the was on me to make sure that I protected myself. Now, with the whole Roe v. Wade situation, while it sucks for women, they are taking away men's right to holler trapped. Because if you live in a state where abortion is or soon will be illegal, there is no trapped. You knew from the gate that she didn't have any option. So now it looks like the ball's in your court, gentlemen. Y'all better be putting them rubbers on because it looked like baby making season.
When you trap a man with a baby, or when a man traps you with the baby, they have just unintentionally or intentionally put a binding spell on that person. Now, they might not have a relationship with each other, but they have just created a oneness within the both of themselves. Now they are attached to each other, conjoined by the hip for the rest of their lives, simply because of the oneness that they created. That's what you call a binding spell. And as you can see, it does not always go well. Actually, in most cases, it don't go well.
Let's talk about this narrative that men are trapped in certain situations by women when they become pregnant. It's just not true. It doesn't exist. It's a narrative that you've made up in your head to absolve you from the responsibility of what you've done, which is lay down with somebody that you do not know well enough, which is lay down with somebody and not use protection when you're not ready to have a baby with that person. Are there women out there that get pregnant with this idea in their head for the relationship to become serious or for money? Yeah, of course there are people out there. There are good and bad people out there that do selfish things, that use selfish tactics in order to get what they want. However, that is still not trapping a man who has laid down with that person as a fully fledged adult with all of their senses and can take responsibility for that. If you don't want a baby, use protection. If you aren't sure about the person, get to know them a little bit more. Take responsibility for the things that you do. This same person went on to write, "That's why you should marry before you carry." And then a lady wrote, "As if marrying a man keeps a man." Mic drop. Truth. Truth. Take responsibility. Take responsibility.
I don't want to do this alone. You wanted this kid. You sat there on your knees crying.
This was not about having a baby. He wanted to trap her. He wanted to take her down a peg. He always wanted to be connected to her. He always wanted a place to stay. And he's mad. What he's really mad about is not he's not concerned about the baby. He's mad that it didn't work. This man begged her to have a baby and couldn't even be bothered to show up for delivery. He don't care. This was to take her down a peg. And if you're young and beautiful, if you are a woman on a path and you're growing in your career, if you are on a weight loss journey, honey, the men around you will use pregnancy to slow you down. And more women need to put their foot down and be just like her.
Narcissists trap. If narcissists see good supply, they will trap you with a baby. Okay? You could be a man, you could be a woman, doesn't matter. If they know you're a good person, you have a good heart, you have potential, you're ambitious. Remember, they see people as an extension of them. So if they see someone who have all these qualities, doesn't matter whether you see it or not. If they see you have these qualities, the way they're gonna leech on and hook onto you is by trapping you with a baby. Because they know if they get married to you, you can get divorced. If you go into business, you can just sell the business. There's so many different ways to untangle yourself. However, when it comes to having a child with the narcissist, they know this is literally for life. People say 18 years.